Hi, everyone. We are going to talk about your Going Gothic assignment. This is due at the end of the Gothic Americans module, which is very short. There's only about 2 lessons there. And we're really focused on in this module the works of Edgar Allan Poe. He is widely considered the king or the father of Gothic American literature. And you guys will recognize off the bat with his works that he is very dark and brooding, and all of his works have this air of mystery and intensity and eerie feeling to them. So, most of you, when you hear the term Gothic, you probably think all of those things, and you would be absolutely correct in thinking those. That's ultimately what the mood we're striving for in these works is. So, for this assignment, I want you to keep that in mind and also keep an open mind for this assignment. So, for this assignment, we are going to be creating a work of film production notes. So I want you guys to first and foremost think of a work of Gothic literature that you could consider putting into film. So this can be a work that we have read in this module, the Gothic Americans module, or it can be something that you've read previously. For example, in the last module, the Romantic Americans, we read The Headless Horseman. And that's a really great example of Gothic literature. If you really liked reading that work, you can use that for this. But honestly, it can be any work of your choice. The only caveat is that it has to fit the features of Gothic literature. So all you're going to do for number one here is write the work that you will be using. It has to be a written text. All right. So for number two, there are often multiple themes that are featured in a literary work. I want you to identify two of your work's literary themes and just choose one to emphasize and really work with and kind of have in mind as you work through the rest of this assignment. So you guys can use the highlighter tool up here to, after you've typed out two of the themes from your literary work, you can highlight the one that you would like to kind of work with for this assignment. Now, for number three, you are going to identify and describe two important scenes from your literary work that must appear in the film version. So these can either be like your favorite scenes, or they can be scenes that you think best represent the theme that you've chosen above, or they can be scenes that you absolutely think are vital to telling this story. For example, if you were trying to convince your best friend to read this story, what two scenes would you absolutely have to include in your summary in order to convince them that this is a must read? So there are several options you can work with there, but I just need you guys to describe two scenes, any two scenes that you would like to go with here. And you can do that in bullet points, or you can do them in list form or in a summary. That's okay. So for number four, for each of those scenes that you identified and described in number three, I want you to suggest some filming locations, props, and sets that you think will be needed to convey the right mood for the film. Now, remember that mood is the feeling we want our readers or our viewers to have about this work. So really be specific here. This is where I want you to get creative and really use your imagination. So for each scene that you've described in number three, I want you to suggest a filming location. Would you do that in a studio, or would you go on location to a specific part of the country, a specific city, or even a different part of the world? But really think about it strategically. Where location wise do you think best fits the scene that you're describing? Tell me what that scene looks like. Is it dark? Is it bright and sunny? Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? Does it have a certain smell or a certain characteristic about it that's really memorable and that supports the mood that you're trying to capture here, right? Now, what about props? Every good movie has good props. What types of stage makeup or other effects are you going to use to really help capture the mood of this scene? Are you going to need to use like a fog machine to get some fog rolling and to really add to some eeriness of your scene or your setting? Or are you going to use blackout curtains to remove all of the light in the setting? Or are you going to like use certain sound effects or things like that to really add to the scene you're setting? And then other sets, other details that you think might need to be important and would be useful to help set the mood would be wise to include here as well. So the more specific that you can be in number four, the better. And then lastly, in number 5, I need you to decide how the film should begin and end. So in the space below, I want you to describe the opening and closing scenes of your film in detail. So does this movie open up panning across a vast, open, empty field at midnight? There's not a star in the sky. It's pitch black. And we see one person sprinting across the field, racing for their life. Something like that. Add some mystery and add some drama to it. And guys, please just have fun with this assignment. Be creative. Really focus on imagery and how that imagery can help capture the mood of the scene that you're setting. So once you have completed these 5 questions, please make sure that you go up to the share button and that your share settings are set to services.live. And once we have determined that they are set to services.live, we can click done, and then we are ready to submit our assignment.